largest GDP in the world, the largest manufacturing state and agricultural state, and one of the largest export states in the world. And that's something that needs to be called out and highlighted absolutely as well.
You mentioned the economic impact, and I wanted to drill down into what it looks like in California.
The impacts here are outsized and profound and consequential, thus the lawsuit against the Trump administration.
I know on the one tack you've got the lawsuit. Have there been...
What do tacos and Trump's tariffs have in common? According to Gavin Newsom, California is getting ready for a fiesta after the courts crushed Trump's economic plans. But wait, a comeback move from Trump could be just around the corner. What's his next play, and how does it affect you? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine running a business where your livelihood depends on shipments that just don't show up. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, that's exactly the storm Trump's tariff policies unleashed at California's ports. The so-called mastermind behind the art of the deal turned the nation's busiest shipping hubs into chaos central, and the numbers paint a messy picture. In Los Angeles, 17 vessels were flat out canceled, while Oakland saw its container traffic plunge by a shocking 15%. For small businesses depending on imports, this wasn't just a headache, it was survival on the line. Take, for example, one bike supplier in San Francisco who spent years promoting affordable e-bikes. When Trump's tariffs hit, the price for key components from China skyrocketed, forcing him to raise prices on customers and lose sales. Or there's the baby supply shop owner in Fresno. After decades of selling essentials like strollers and bottles, the higher costs squeezed profits so thin she nearly lost her home. These were real people being hit hard, all because tariffs made goods more expensive and harder to get. In some cases, shipments showed up months late, or not at all. Who knew turning trade into a game of chicken could hurt so many?
Apex predator deciding day in on a whim, day in, day out decision on this or that. And that's something that needs to be called out and highlighted absolutely as well.
You mentioned the economic impact, and I wanted to drill down into what it looks like in California.
Dropped 2 months in a row, including significantly from Canada, down 16%. And by the way,
beyond the heartbreaking stories, experts warned that the ripple effects were everywhere. Research showed that supply chain disruptions caused shortages, hitting consumers with higher prices and businesses with overwhelming uncertainty. In fact, studies revealed that Trump's tariff war cost Americans billions as businesses scrambled to adjust. All the while, Governor Gavin Newsom was calling out Trump for crafting policies driven more by ego than actual economics. Newsom publicly slammed the tariffs for being erratic and designed mainly to grab headlines rather than stabilize markets. It wasn't just Newsom making these claims. Markets also responded to the turmoil, seeing spikes in trade costs. But here's where things took a nosedive for Trump. California, fed up with the economic toll, filed a lawsuit and won. A court ruled that Trump's tariffs violated the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, essentially saying his plan was unlawful. So, big win for California, right? Sure, but here's a twist. What happens now to Trump's entire budget strategy, which relied on that tariff income? Stay tuned, because it's a story that only gets messier. What happens when you base your entire government budget on something that gets struck down in court?
A side deal here, a side deal there, a phone call, a foreign leader reaching out. I mean, it's no way to govern a small business, let alone.
Here in Canada this week, for example, we're seeing layoffs and slowdowns at auto manufacturers, but largely it's the specter, right? The idea, the uncertainty. We're waiting to see what the full impact will be.
Largest GDP in the world, the largest manufacturing state and agricultural state, and one of the largest export states in the world.
Well, Trump's team found out the hard way. His budget bill relied heavily on tariffs. Those same tariffs that California just obliterated in a lawsuit. It's like trying to fill a swimming pool with a leaky bucket. And now, let's just say the numbers don't add up and the stakes for millions of Americans couldn't be higher.
The largest nation in the world. And so the economic consequences, the uncertainty, the chill across the spectrum is profound. And it's profound because, as you suggest, this in LA, we just announced yesterday the cargo volume is down 35% already, not 3.5%, 5%. We've seen tourism numbers, but the impacts that we're already feeling. Again, I'm the largest state in the United States of America, the size of 21 state populations combined, the fourth.
California Governor Gavin Newsom didn't hold back on the warning signs. He flat out called out the recklessness, pointing to Medicaid as one of the biggest targets for cuts. We're talking about health coverage for 3.4 million people. Gone, just like that. And then there's SNAP, better known as food stamps. Families who are already struggling to get by would be stuck figuring out how to even put food on the table. A budget built on shaky tariff revenue? That's like gambling with the lives of low-income families. Even Elon Musk couldn't stay quiet on this one. He described the budget as blowing a massive hole in the debt.
The notion of three branches of government, co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty, the rule of law has been challenged, and Congress is completely silent and completely complicit. Specific, I mean, California moves 40% of all the goods in the United States of America come through our ports of entry here in the state, particularly in Southern California, Long Beach. 1.8 million Canadians visit my state every single year, and it's already had a profound and outsized consequence. It's understandable from the perspective of how the President of the United States has been treating the impacts here are outsized and profound and consequential, thus the lawsuit against the Trump administration.
I know on the one tack you've got the lawsuit. Have there been...
The guy builds rockets for fun, but even he knows this kind of money mismanagement is headed for disaster. Meanwhile, financial experts and market analysts have been shouting from the rooftops about the instability this creates. Tariffs were already costing the economy billions, but to rely on them for critical social programs, it's like piling sandbags on a crumbling dam. Here's where Newsom added another layer to the fight. While dealing with fallout from the court victory, he reminded everyone that California's been battling Trump for years, with 22 lawsuits filed against the administration. And he's not stopping. In his words, Trump's recklessness is obvious, but markets bat last, meaning the economy will ultimately punish bad policies. Recent GDP shrinkage adds to the urgency. The slapdash budget paired with tariff chaos is pushing the Senate into a corner, and Newsom isn't shy about reminding them to clean up the mess. So the big question isn't just what's next for the budget. Knowing Trump, it's what wild move he doubles down on next. Trump's economic mess isn't just political, it's personal for millions of Americans. From collapsing small businesses to Medicaid cuts threatening families, the ripple effects are everywhere. And remember that updated GDP figure? Yeah, it flipped from growth to a 2% drop. Not what you'd call winning. California's Governor Newsom isn't just sitting back. He's leading the charge with 22 lawsuits and promises to shield vulnerable populations. He said it best: accountability matters. But here's the kicker. Will Trump dig in deeper, or will the markets force his hand? Whatever comes next, one thing's clear. Trump's next move will speak volumes about his priorities.